I, Alex, recently tied the knot with the beautiful Emma. After the wedding, we decided to temporarily live with her mother, Maria, in a cozy house on the outskirts of town. We were just starting to build our life together, and then such a tragedy struck. Emma lost her father. She needs her family's support now, more than ever. The first days at Maria's house were not easy. Emma was constantly crying, and I tried to comfort her, but I could barely hold myself together. My mother-in-law also looked lost and depressed. I realized that I had to be strong for both of them. "Mom, maybe you should get some rest. I'll bring you some tea," Emma offered, seeing my attempts to help somehow. "Thank you, dear. Alex, could you sit with me for a while? I feel so lonely." Maria looked at me with hope. Of course, I couldn't refuse her. We sat in the kitchen until late at night, remembering Emma's dad, sharing stories from his life. For the first time, I saw Maria not as a strict mother-in-law, but as a fragile woman who needed a shoulder to lean on. Days went by, and my communication with Maria became increasingly close. Emma spent a lot of time going through her father's things and settling formalities, so my mother-in-law and I were often left alone. At first, it was just conversations, but gradually, I began to notice something more than gratitude for support in her eyes. One evening, we sat up late with a bottle of wine. Maria talked about her youth, unfulfilled dreams, and regrets. Her eyes glistened with tears, and I couldn't help myself. I hugged her, trying to comfort her. Maria smelled of sweet perfume and wine. Her body was so soft and yielding in my arms. I suddenly caught myself thinking that I wanted to kiss her. "Alex, I'm so grateful that you're here. I don't know how I would have coped without you," Maria whispered, pressing against me. "I'll always be here, I promise," I replied, feeling my heart ready to jump out of my chest. I had never felt anything like this for my mother-in-law before. From that night on, something subtly changed in our relationship. Accidental touches, long glances, ambiguous phrases. We were flirting, not yet daring to cross the line, but I already understood that the attraction was growing stronger every day. The tension between Maria and me was growing. We started coming up with reasons to be alone together. I volunteered to help her with shopping. She offered to cook my favorite dish. Emma didn't notice anything, consumed by her grief. One evening, when Emma went to visit a friend, Maria and I were left alone. I went out to the porch to get some fresh air and gather my thoughts. A few minutes later, Maria joined me. "What are you thinking about?" she asked, leaning on the railing next to me. Her closeness made my head spin. "Maria, I don't know how to say this. I think I'm falling in love with you," I blurted out, unable to hold back any longer. "I know it's crazy, but I can't stop thinking about you." Instead of answering, Maria pressed her lips to mine in a passionate, almost desperate kiss. We kissed like teenagers, afraid of getting caught. "Alex, I'm going crazy with desire too, but we can't. Emma must never find out," Maria whispered frantically when we broke apart. I know, but I can't pretend anymore. Let's at least be together tonight." That night, while Emma was at her friend's place, Maria and I made love, first on the porch, then in her bedroom. I tried to be gentle, afraid of hurting her, but at the same time, I desperately wanted to possess her. As I fell asleep in Maria's arms, I realized that our lives would never be the same again. For the next few weeks, Maria and I led a double life. In public, we played the roles of exemplary son-in-law and mother-in-law, supporting the grief-stricken Emma. But as soon as we were alone, we pounced on each other with all the passion of secret lovers. Maria was insatiable. It seemed that years of loneliness had awakened a wild, unbridled sensuality in her. Our encounters became increasingly risky. Quick sex in the kitchen while Emma was in the shower, caresses in the pantry from which we slipped out one by one. The adrenaline and fear of exposure only fueled our passion even more. At the same time, the burden of guilt was becoming unbearable. I felt like the ultimate scumbag, deceiving Emma, pretending that I loved only her. And Maria was suffering too. I saw how she hid her teary eyes behind dark glasses and fell silent every time Emma made plans for our happy family future. "Alex, this can't go on like this. Sooner or later, Emma will find out and it will destroy our family," Maria said to me in despair after another night spent together on the sly. "But I can't give you up. I need you like air. Let's run away. Start over somewhere far from here," I begged, kissing her hands. We can't do that to Emma. She doesn't deserve such betrayal. We'll have to end what's happening between us, Alex, no matter how painful it is. Maria's words sobered me up. I realized that my marriage to Emma and our family were sacred, something that couldn't be sacrificed for the sake of a fleeting passion. No matter how much I desired Maria, she was first and foremost my wife's mother, and I was her husband. These bonds were unbreakable. The next morning, I told Emma that it was time for us to find our own place. My mother-in-law supported me, saying that a young family needed more personal space. We started packing our things, preparing for the move. When I was alone with Maria on the day of our departure, I hugged her tightly to say goodbye. Tears were streaming down our faces, but we both understood that we were doing the right thing. "Thank you for everything that was between us. I will never forget it," I whispered, inhaling her scent for the last time. "Me neither, but now you must be faithful to your wife. Promise me that you'll take care of her, Alex. She loves you so much." "I promise. You take care of yourself too, Maria, and know that a part of my heart will always belong to you." We released our embrace and went our separate ways. I sat in the car next to Emma, squeezed her hand tightly, and started the engine. A new life awaited us, just the two of us, without forbidden passions and emotional torment. We would cope, because our love was stronger than any trials. Already out of town, Emma turned to me with a mischievous smile. "You know, I'm aware that you and Mom had an affair." Everything inside me fell apart. Did she know all along and kept silent? "Emma, I swear it's over between us. Please forgive me, I beg you," I started, but my wife cut me off with a kiss. "I'm not mad, honey. Mom and I planned it this way. She's not that old, and you're just fire in bed. Consider it my wedding gift to you both." Her eyes were sparkling with mischief. I laughed with relief and pulled Emma close to me. It seemed that married life promised to be much more interesting than I thought.